All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're talking the police beat with Kamala Harris.
Oh, gotta be careful of that.
On this episode of America's Most Wanted, Most Imprisoned, and Most draconianly taken in by the state, Cody, I can't even talk about this because I have a bias. So maybe you should just take over this episode really fast and tell us what's going on.
All right. So, because I'm a crazy person who can just be nice to someone for 5 minutes, we'll talk about for a second here. Kamala Harris. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware by now that Kamala Harris has officially dropped out of the 2020 presidential election. In her little, conciliatory, I don't know. I don't think she's made the official statement, but it's official. Sources have confirmed. This is what's really fascinating too. I want to highlight one little quick thing about the Kamala Harris thing is Harris told aides of her intentions in an all-staff call on Tuesday, and a person familiar with the conversation said she sounded distraught, I'm sure. While Harris had qualified for the December debate in her home state later this month, she was running dangerously low on cash, as we covered yesterday, lacking the resources to air TV ads in Iowa, and her staff was gripped by long-running internal turmoil. All true. The biggest thing I want to highlight there, though, which is fascinating, there's a debate coming up in like a few weeks in California, her home state, and she dropped out. You think you limp to the...
That does surprise me. I thought she'd hold on.
Yeah, limp to the debate, and maybe you have some Hail Mary debate appearance. Yeah. Now, we'll show you guys a little bit. We've talked a lot about why Kamala, it's not surprising that she dropped out. And really, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the fact that she's out of the race, because I don't think too many people are really that surprised. You can see she tweeted that right here. I'm suspending my campaign today, and she's dropped out. I mean, I believe officially she's no longer going to continue her campaign. We talked yesterday about a couple things. One, that she's completely broke, can't hire staff, can't run ads. Two, that she might have been one of the many candidates who fell prey to a interesting business idea to draw money from donations to candidates. We did a video about it yesterday. But, I mean, no funds, just really hurting in the polls. I mean, she was at one point a top-tier candidate for like 4 or 5 days, and then that ended. I think I have an article right here. I do. Check this one out. Let me make it a little easier for you guys to read, but spoiler. Yesterday.
That is just disheartening.
Well, this came out yesterday, right? Bloomberg overtakes Harris in new poll. And I have a thing right here. And you can see Bloomberg is at 6%. Now, while I think this is also important to kind of show you guys something else, too. You'll notice in this graphic where they have Bloomberg at 6%. Kamala Harris is at 2%. Andrew Yang is also at 2%, right? The difference is that Kamala Harris has been polling at 12% at one point.
Yeah.
And it's been falling and falling.
She's on her way down. He's on his way up.
Well, he's holding. He's still waiting for that bump. I mean, there hasn't been... Eventually, every campaign gets some kind of bump, and then we see what happens. I mean, we saw it happen with Kamala Harris, where she went out to 12, 14%. At one point, it was like third, and now she's announced she's no longer running. But again, there's not too much more to say here. The campaign's been in trouble for a while. I don't think either of us are Kamala fans. I haven't met many Kamala fans. I will say, when we went to the Democrat dinner in Nevada, there was supporters there. I mean, she wasn't new. There was Kamala supporters, but
was it part of their parole, or did they, was it, something she'd instituted into their probation?
Yeah,
or
part of your plea deal before, like 4 years ago. Yeah. That was a thing. For the next 10 years, you have to support me in every.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wouldn't put it past Kamala to say, we caught you with a dime bag,
or the inverse. You're innocent, but Yeah, there's genetic information that would exonerate you from death row. Anyway, I'm not going to get into this.
But if you just become a member of my campaign...
Wait, come on, hold on. Because we can just say bad things about Kamala forever. We already have. Her record's well known, but this is what I want to talk about. And I think actually that was a great segue into what I want to talk about. I think it's interesting. Now, Andrew Yang...
You won't even let me rip on Kamala.
Kamala. On all days today, you're going to rip on her? She just embarrassingly announced she won't even bother showing up to debate in her home state because she's so out of the race. I'll give her a couple hours, but check this out. Andrew Yang, I guess, had just kind of happened to be speaking with the media around the time it went public. So we actually have Andrew's thoughts on Kamala Harris dropping out of the race. And there's some interesting stuff in here. So I'm going to play this for you guys really quickly. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about what we saw or what we heard from Andrew. And I believe he's in New Hampshire, right now. Either way, here we go.
Been with Kamala dozens of times now on the trail. I'd consider her a friend. We have each other's cell phone numbers and text occasionally. And it makes me very sad to see her drop out. She has a lot to offer the country. It's more human than people think. I'm going to miss seeing her a great deal.
It's a long way to go, but would you consider her, if you win the nomination, is she somebody you would maybe consider as a running mate?
I would 100% love to work with Kamala in some capacity. We have a lot of problems to solve in this country, and she's going to be part of the solution, I'm sure.
Okay, so, obviously the lead there is Andrew Yang possibly hints at Yang Kamala ticket. I don't think so. I think, again, he's just trying to be nice, but that was interesting. And before we get to that, I want to go over one more thing. So
Okay.
I know you have a lot to say, so I want to make sure we have everything to talk about first, and then we can talk about it. This is what I wanted to highlight, because Andrew Yang brought up a really interesting point. He's brought this point up before in the past. I guess I'll show you guys when he brought this point up in the past, actually. He tweeted out just before the debates in November. He said, I miss Beto. And somebody asked him, what do you mean by I miss Beto?
I miss the draconian guy who wants to forfeit all firearms to the state.
He made the same point he made with Kamala, and it honestly makes sense. He said, look, I go to these events all the time, and I run into these people all the time. And what do you know? They're probably nice to each other because they're probably not all evil people always. And they're probably pretty cordial. And it's like he said, you go to 4 or 5 of these debates and you look up and you always see Beto there, and you come one day and he's not here. It's weird. I think same thing with Kamala. He's like, I go to these events, I go to these debates, I go to these dinners, I go to these speeches and these meetings, and I've seen Kamala there, and she's always been very kind to me, and now she's not going to be there. I think, and again, I always say, like, if there's ever a time to be nice to someone, it's like when they're at their lowest, because why not? It makes you look better. It makes them, they're not going to feel any better either way. If you dunk on them, they're going to care. She just embarrassingly admitted defeat. Like, why not be nice? And speaking of, Andrew Yang has made a bit of a habit. I mean, sticking with humanity first, I'm going to go through a few. I'll see what you have to say about these. The Beto one, like I said, I get the idea of him saying, I've been to 4 or 5 of these debates. Beto's always there. Now he isn't. It's just weird him not being there. But check out this one as well. We have, this was before Jay Inslee dropped out. But again, this is a incomplete list. He has done a lot of stuff like this in the past. So I just want to highlight Andrew Yang being nice to his opposition today. Jay Inslee has led the charge on addressing climate change for years. He is right. This issue will define this century and the world we leave to our children. So glad he's in the race. He'll move us in the right direction. I believe March 1st, this was like weeks before Jay Inslee dropped out. So it was close to him not being in the race anymore. But there we go. Another one. I have another one here for you guys.
Okay.
This was I think that honestly, Cory Booker and Andrew Yang are just friends at this point. I think they've done joint interviews after debates together. Right, but I think they're just being friendly. I like it. I can see it in your face. You're like, you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like in like sports. There's like the old school people who are like, I don't like any of this friend. Like they should hate each other. And the new school people like exchange jerseys after games. And like I can kind of see it here. Some people are like, no, he should be like adversarial.
Well, as much as I throw up a little bit in my mouth when I hear him saying good things about these horrible people. Just kidding. I shouldn't say horrible people, just God's children with really bad ideas. But I do have to say this is why I like outsiders in politics so much, because I do jest in a lot of my responses about these people, and it's generally a response to the people's policies, not these people. And I think that's why having new fresh blood in politics is so important, because Americans have a problem. We have a competency problem in our leaders, all right? But we also don't forget. And Andrew Yang is coming to the political scene with zero baggage. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been tainted by the knowledge that, Kamala sent all these people to prison and all these old battles. So he can kind of address it with fresh eyes, forge new friendships, make new friends, keep the old, It's good to see these people, the unmentionables, you know what I'm saying, viewed through a more
politicians a
fresher
dirty
lens.
Enough word. You could just call them politicians,
These politicians.
That's a derogatory enough word. No, but here we go. You want to talk about how nice of a guy Jang is to his fellow candidates? He sided with Eric Swalwell in Fartgate.
Oh.
That's a nice guy, man.
Well,
That's
saying
nice
I believe in Eric Swalwell as I think just like a general statement of support, not saying I believe he didn't fart.
I mean, he says he believes take it as you will. I take it as a support. So you want, like I said, you want to stand up for someone after Lois.
I got to tell you, if you think that Eric
was a
Swalwell
low
didn't
moment.
fart, then I don't think you have as much
You'll notice he didn't say
claim
that.
to a love of the scientific method.
He didn't say he didn't believe you didn't. He just said I believe in Eric Swalwell. But there we go. There's a few more.
Well, that's funny. Like that's something I would say though.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then also I wanted to bring it up because, of course, today when Kamala Harris did announce, Andrew Yang tweeted, he said, "I'm stunned Kamala Harris is suspending her campaign. She's one of my favorite people to share time with on the trail. So warm, smart, fiery, and a true public servant. She offered my family help and guidance when she didn't need to. Kamala, I will see you soon." That almost sounded a little bit kind of like an obituary at the end, like, see you on the other side. You know what I mean? It was a little bit weird how we kind of wrapped it up, but, and then look, a very nice picture. Again, these people are friendly with each other. They don't hate each other. They're just running against.
Well, in Versailles, all the people that were oppressing the French, they loved each other. The Count loved the Duchess, and the Duchess got along with the Queen.
So who's Andrew Yang then?
I got to tell you right now, you know exactly who he is? Who's the musketeer that Alexander Dumas wrote about that made his way into the royalty by fighting? He was an outsider.
The fourth musketeer?
No, come on. He was the father of, not D'Artagnan.
I have to admit, my musketeer knowledge is zero.
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
I probably know more about the Mouseketeers than the Musketeers. But,
okay, keep going.
I would say, I would argue with Andrew Yang that he is, you know what? Perhaps true public servant is the most apt way to describe Kamala Harris and her tenure as prosecutor for the state of California. She was a true server of the public. Should I serve my fellow man and release him from jail? Or should I serve the public and keep him as labor?
Yeah.
I will serve the public. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to spend too much doing the Kamala grave dancing because
D'Artagnan.
There we
I was
go.
right. D'Artagnan.
Just because I personally saw Kamala Harris dropping out for a very long time. I'm not surprised. I figured it was going to happen at some point. A little surprised she didn't go for the Hail Mary at the debate. I figured she would just say, "I'll limp to the debate." And, whatever happens, whatever happens. I can go on stage, say whatever I want. My campaign's basically done. Maybe I could try to save it. The fact that she didn't want to do that, I'll get a little bit speculative here now. Just saying, I could see a world where Kamala Harris was basically trying to spare herself the experience, let's say, of having to go to her home state, perhaps perform poorly at another debate, and then embarrassingly bow out the next day.
Yeah, and have 1 million people outside, having the African-American community protesting the mass incarceration of like 1,000 people a year.
Not even that
she reigned in her home state.
Not even that. Just you don't.
While she's reminding us all that she's a woman of color.
But you just don't want to go home. You don't want to go to California, bomb, and drop out when you could just drop out now. I think is what's happening. Because
if you don't believe in yourself.
If California was truly your home state and she got like your typical home state support, she wouldn't. But it's not.
Yeah.
We highlighted months ago that Andrew Yang is a pastor in some California polls, like months ago. I mean, It's been bad for a while. It's again though, I don't want to dance too much on the grave of Kamala Harris because I don't think this surprises really anyone. I know Andrew Yang said he was shocked. The only shocking thing that I do want to talk about was the fact that Andrew Yang didn't. I mean, again, give me the quote here. When asked if he'd consider, actually that quote's inaccurate. When asked if he'd consider Kamala as a running mate, he said, "I 100% would love to work with Kamala in some capacity."
But that seemed euphemistic, not necessarily, an endorsement of the idea.
No,
it seemed like he didn't want to say, "Nah, I don't really see what's in it for me. She would only bring an extra 1.5%, and if I needed it, I'd probably choose somebody better."
Again, he's being nice.
Yes, he's being nice.
He could easily say, "Why would I want that loser on my staff?" Right? He could easily say that.
I completely credit Andrew Yang with being very kind, and to a certain extent, it warms my soul. It gives me a little bit of the warm fuzzies because as a Christian, I believe in redemption. And it's a lot easier to seek redemption from people that look at you with fresh eyes. That's why I think, going to a new school sometimes can be a good thing. Going to a new college or to a new neighborhood or moving and having these fresh starts are very important for people because fresh eyes view you in a different way. Okay, with a much more positive benefit of the doubt than other people that knew your mistakes in the past. And part of me looks at this and thinks, you know what? If Andrew Yang can get along with these people that well, there must be more redeeming qualities in them than I see. Because when I see Kamala, I think, everything the founding fathers hoped attorney generals wouldn't become. You know what I'm saying?
I think what's scarier is that what the tenure of her was probably a lot closer to what your average attorney general tenure's like. And I just think that's probably closer to what we could expect from most prosecutors is what we saw with her in California. I think that's closer. It's just the fact is most attorney generals or most state prosecutors like that aren't running for president, so we don't look at the records as closely. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I just have to imagine, because I just know one thing. The United States, every state in this country, love it or hate it, has weird sentencing laws, and there's openings to get totally screwed by the courts always, and the courts screw people always. I mean, it's one of those things like, look, I don't like weighing in too much of some of this stuff, but it's like one of those things like when it's like, yeah, like police legitimately harass people every day. They help people every day. They save people every day, but they harass people every day. It goes both ways, you know what I mean? And just more of it. I think there's more prosecutors like her than we like to think. Which isn't good, right? But
yeah, but at least they're not claiming to be the embodiment of liberalism. And I mean, I don't know. Like,
Kamala never actually really necessarily.
I know she's your gal.
No, but she never claims to be that either.
Okay, look, I know she's your gal.
I'm just saying, I think she was more openly authoritarian than you're giving her credit for. I think she was more openly like, yeah.
She was open, laughing in the faces of reporters that were asking her if she would pardon nonviolent criminals when the laws change.
Yeah.
And just laughing at them.
Because she, like, anyway.
I mean, Disney makes villainous characters out of people that laugh at the poor that have been in prison.
You know, I got really good news for you.
Yes.
Kamala Harris dropped out today. So she's no longer running for president. So you don't have to be concerned about what she did 10 years ago as a prosecutor anymore. I'm glad. And I wanted to highlight, I thought it was a good time to highlight that Andrew Yang is. And he's made multiple tweets throughout. I mean, I still think the one that stands out to me, standing with Eric Swalwell and Fartgate, that's a big one, man. But just over time, he's really been pretty generous to other candidates he's been running with.
Like I said, if Andrew Yang can see this,
I think he tweeted out when Michael Bloomberg left, Bill de Blasio. Which, by the way, polls said that Bill de Blasio, if everyone who's ran as a Democrat in 2020, was the least liked. So that people who've dropped out, still running, it was de Blasio among Democrats is the least liked. So even de Blasio, Andrew Yang was like, hey, Bill's a good guy. I'm glad he ran. Like, he always says this. Not saying it's the most unique thing ever, but I do think it is worth highlighting because a lot of times people hear Kamala Harris drops out, and especially someone like Kamala, who used to poll 4 or 5 times higher than Andrew Yang, who now is dropping out before him. It's easy to want to be like, yeah, but at the end of the day, man, like it's a very embarrassing and humiliating day for these people, and for the most part, I can just live with their admitting defeat and moving on. Because you know what? No offense, John Delaney's still running. If Kamala Harris can't win, can Wayne Sestic? Is it Wayne Sestic?
Oh, poor guy.
No offense to these people, but
if we're asking how to pronounce their names.
My point being, though, yeah, exactly. If Kamala Harris is dropping out, why are these people that have like nowhere to go not dropping out? I don't understand fully. Because again, remember, here's the other weird thing too. Going back to that poll I showed you guys a few minutes ago from I believe it was from The Hill, where Michael Bloomberg passed Kamala. Kamala? Is it
not Kamala? It's Kamala Harris.
I'm
everybody says Kamala, and I doubt she has a problem with it because nobody can pronounce my name either. Okay. So all of us that have weird names, we just get used to like 3 or 4 iterations of our names. You can call me Cardon, you can call me Carlos, you can call me Carter, Cardigan, Carson, Gordon, Carmen. All of it I take as long as you're just in the ballpark of starting with a K and ending with an N. So she probably doesn't care whether she gets called Kamala or Kamala.
Yes. I just thought, again, big takeaways. Kind of went over this, but big takeaways is Mrs. Harris dropping out before appearing at the debate.
Ms. How dare you assume her gender?
What? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh wait, no, she did state that her pronouns were his and her.
Yeah.
But we don't know if she's married, right? So you say Ms. if you don't know their marital status, I thought. Whatever.
Former California Attorney General Harris, former AG Harris. Anyway, I mean, I thought it was interesting that she had secured a spot. I mean, Andrew Yang hasn't secured a spot to this debate yet. She had, and she dropped out. Very interesting. Again, perhaps not wanting to make that embarrassing moment more, like not rubbing salt on the wound. Perhaps anecdotal, or not anecdotal. It's me projecting. I have no idea why she would do it. But if she sounded distraught on the phone and did not want to go back to California for the debate she qualified for in her home state, I have to imagine she wasn't too excited toward the prospects of it. But there we go. Andrew Yang basically, big takeaway here: Andrew Yang, great guy all the time. Humanity first. Is there a better way, Carden? Is there a more humanity first way of approaching your campaign than defending your fellow candidates during trying times as Fartgate and when they drop out of elections? I think that's a humanity first move.
I give Andrew Yang credit where credit is due. I wish that I aspire to have a more Christ-like vision of my fellow children of God. And it seems like Andrew Yang and possibly my co-host Cody Como are a little bit better at doing this than I am. So I commend Andrew Yang for his kindness, especially in his verbiage on Twitter about his fellow Democrats, something I accept that I struggle with.
It's not that hard. Just to be nice to people. Just be nice.
Oh, no. Some people aren't people.
Oh, no. There we go. Well, I guess the true answer then is that
I have effectively dehumanized my enemies.
I was about to say the true answer then is you're just not nice. You're just a mean person. I guess for mean people it's hard to be anyway. So we've established Carden's a mean person. But I got some better news for you guys. It's not about mean people.
Not mean.
I guess we can argue semantics later. But here we go. So this is something cool, guys. Check this out. This came across my Twitter account yesterday, but it was going on the day before, I believe. It's actually down here in Los Angeles. But a couple of actors. William Lexham on Twitter, at Will Lexham. I've seen him at some of these events, I believe. I see him on Twitter a lot. I think we've crossed paths in one of these LA events. Anyway, him and another actor, David Arquette, as well as an artist, I believe not one, actually went down to Los Angeles and put up a pretty cool Andrew Yang mural. They put a short video together. I'll play this for a second so you guys can kind of get a gist of it. But I wanted to highlight because it's a really cool thing.
Not one. Met you at your event here. We got a surprise for you when you come back to LA. Hey.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. Isn't that?
Boom.
And just music in the background.
Is that a car wash?
Yeah, it looks
Legit?
like it.
That's a car wash. Come get your car washed.
Like it's on 3rd Street in Ardmore.
So now we need just a
Third
bunch
Nard.
of hot
Do you know
guys and hot
God.
girls doing a car wash on a summer day, holding up those signs, making like a cool National Lampoon movie out of it.
Exactly. That's
freaking boomer marketing 101
took
right
the
there,
words
dog.
out of my mouth. Took the words out of my mouth. There we go. It's some more fun, some more cool stuff on social media. Here's a moment where Will gave David Arquette a Yang hat. He swapped out his Yang hat for his. And they just moments of them hanging out doing it. But we try to highlight stuff
Cool,
like
man.
this a lot of just the cool things going on with the Yang Gang. Interesting. 'Cause, again, this is something unique to Andrew Yang for the most part. It's the same way. Full disclosure, the way that like Ariana Grande and like Cardi B just hang out with Bernie Sanders. Unique to Bernie Sanders. That is unique to him. It's not the same with Andrew. Andrew Yang's a little different than that. But I thought this was very cool. Like I said, guys, I'm going to try to get down there today or tomorrow to get some video and photos of you guys before they try to get rid of it. But hopefully they don't, because it's a really cool mural. And they have some photos here, too. Here we go.
Wow,
Get a better look
look at
at
that.
some photos. Yeah, isn't that very nice, man?
That's way cool.
Yeah, and
It almost looks like a gun in his hand, though.
not really, but
Like it almost looks like he's holding up like a pistol, but now I see that it's dollars. At first I thought it was like a pistol. I was like, whoa, it's like a Western Andrew Yang. But no, now I see he's securing the bag.
what
You know
a
what I'm saying?
very like theatrical take on it. Like you see someone holding a gun. Oh, like the Westerns.
Well, yeah, like it's
the
like a
John-
bandito
yeah,
getting out of town. You're like,
like the John Wayne pictures.
yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. You know? What?
Like John Ford. Remember John Ford is a good man. John Ford.
Look, dude, I was born and bred on. Okay, my mother said that she was not going to raise an uncultured child when TV came out, so she didn't let me have a TV in my room. But she did force me to watch classic movies. And by classic movies, she basically meant every Rodgers and Hammerstein flick ever made, every musical out there,
did you get to watch,
and every Western. So I don't know if I was raised on classic movies, because I didn't see like The Godfather or Scarface until I was much older. My dad's like, yeah, here, watch this one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'd say all the way up until like 12 or 13, I thought classic movies meant John Wayne movies and Rodgers and Hammerstein flicks, because I had an elementary school teacher mother.
That's really funny, man.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious.
yeah. But anyway-
I'm like a Frank Capra baby, all right? I just
Yeah.
admit it.
Very, very interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to go. Again, the mural itself is really neat. I also thought it was really cool. It's always really cool seeing kind of like, I don't like saying celebrity endorsements, but more just like influential people using their influence and lending it to the campaign, I guess, which is a celebrity endorsement. But whatever, however you want to phrase it. I think it's really cool to see. And I don't know, man. I just thought this was a really, really. Also, I'm a big fan of both the Scream film franchise and professional wrestling. So David Arquette is crossed into both those realms. So I'm very aware of the guy. I think it's very cool that he's also supporting Andrew Yang. A little aside here is funny, interesting to note that Andrew Yang is getting into the wrestling community a little bit.
Yeah.
And there is a standing invitation, I guess, for Andrew Yang to appear on one of the largest wrestling podcasts in the world. So I'm just saying, Andrew, you'll probably reach a lot of people.
It's not a bad idea.
Couple good. I don't know. I mean, you have to remember David Arquette's former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, so you have to keep that in mind.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in the early 2000s, when WCW was a floundering company,
David Arquette jumped in the mix?
he was starring in a film called Ready to Rumble that was being produced by Turner, who owns WCW, the wrestling company, and as a way to gin up excitement for the film, they had him win the championship, and it basically was the end shortly after. Anyway, I'm not gonna
Get out of town. That guy, he looks a little bit skinny to be a world wrestling champion.
You're not alone. It basically killed the company. No one watched the game.
I was not gonna say, man, when you're showing me pics of Chris Jericho, when we got Rocky in his prime, I know he's in professional wrestling, but when I'm thinking of like those brothers in the ring, I'm not thinking of David Arquette.
In his defense, he did apparently, when they came to him with the idea, say, no, I don't want to do that. And they kind of said, look, it's good, it'll be good. And eventually they just kind of convinced him, like, it's going to be good for the movie. And he eventually said, okay, fine. If it's going to be good for the movie, I'll do it.
Wow.
And,
I got respect for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just thought it was funny. And then, and a little bit unrelated, but I don't know. I didn't want to, I'm trying to find something else. Oh, yes, here we go. I was trying to find this. So, like I said, I'm trying to highlight just cool stuff, and the reason why I don't do this as much as I used to, I feel bad because I always leave people off, but please send me stuff if I leave you off. It's not intentional. I only remember so much. But someone sent us this. This was very cool. So this is Dana Jimenez, I believe. She said, my mother did her tire cover in support of Andrew Yang, and she wore the specific shirt to add to the message.
Hey, Dana Jimenez.
And the
There's
shirt
Abuela
says,
Jimenez right there. Look at that.
Yeah, and look at that. Not left, not right, but forward. And just
and that's cool. Straight up hand drawn.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you, I can't remember what movie it's from.
It's like people are actually passionate. What do you know? It's like people actually care about this campaign, right?
And I like that handcrafted mural. In fact, to me, I am more swayed as a viewer by a handcrafted mural than, let's just say that guy's time is worth, I don't know, $500 an hour. And let's just say it took him 5 hours. So that's a in-kind donation of $2,500. I am more swayed by that mural than pretty much any other ad that you could put out that has a value of $2,500.
But like I said, how about this too? Just really quickly, like you were saying, it also can go from, like you said, just the back of your tire cover from just, a regular person in Texas.
Yeah, that matters.
Or all the way to, here we go, where is it? Movie stars down in Los Angeles painting murals. Like, the thing that's so fascinating to me about the Yang Gang in particular, here we go, what I'm looking for, is that it crosses, and not every campaign, I'm sure, has stuff like this, but I just think it's so cool to see, like you said, you have a Hollywood actor down in Los Angeles with a big wall mural, and you just have, someone's grandmother who just put a sticker and wrote in the back of her thing. Like, people are just kind of doing whatever they can and whatever they want to do to show, because they're just passionate. It's not like...
Yeah, that's cool. I dig.
Stuff like this shows me, too, whenever I see, like, artwork done... Not always, because some people are just psychos and they're able to just like do stuff like that. But a lot of people, for the most part, unless they are really passionate and really care about something, they get like, there's a lot, better way of putting it. A lot of people write and draw and do stuff and just don't tell anyone they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Closeted.
But the fact that like you'll see a lot of people who I'm sure did this stuff for years and just didn't talk about it, they're now kind of trying to use their talents to promote stuff for Andrew Yang. I think it's because they feel that they're actually passionate about it. They're like, you know what? Maybe it will look kind of foolish and someone might laugh at me, but whatever. I actually care about what I'm doing this for. And I just, it's been the kind of other side note of the Andrew Yang campaign I love covering so much is seeing, like I say, when I go to these events, most of the people I see in the Yang Gang, like they would have like been like, 14 months ago, I'm not just going to come out into some random place and talk with strangers about whatever. Like, it just wasn't the kind of personality a lot of people have. But it's really getting a lot of people organized and mobilized. And again, I feel bad because I'm not trying to leave anyone out. I am trying to pull up, as we speak, some more stuff. But it just showing, like, it doesn't matter if you're a Hollywood actor. Here we go. This was very cool. So this was at the, I think it's pronounced the Hmong, right?
Whoa, look at that.
I think it's like an Asian ethnic group. I don't know. Forgive me.
The Hmong.
I'm very ignorant.
They're the ones in El Torino.
Sure. Either way.
Oh, no, it's the Hmong, I think.
Either way,
Oof, I
check
can't
this
remember,
out.
yeah.
Check this out. So I guess they had the New Year celebration in Minnesota, and so a bunch of young guys were there breakdancing for them. Again, like it just we go from Texas to Minnesota to Los Angeles. You got actors, grandmothers, breakdancers. It's just like it's funny to me, and this wasn't me digging for months and months. This is from the last 3 or 4 days, just stuff I've been coming across on Twitter. I mean, it is so cool seeing stuff like this. And again, it gets hard for me to note all of it. It's cliche, but it really does seem like Andrew Yang is touching and speaking to people in a way that's just mobilizing them. That I don't think these people were mobilized for candidates. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself now, but
No,
really cool. Very impressive, right?
Very much so. And this, I've said it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That the word charisma comes from the Greek word meaning a gift from the gods, and that they use that word, the Greeks did, because there's no other real way of describing it. These people aren't going to start breakdancing because they were given money. You can't have that kind of enthusiasm from a monetary donation. Well, maybe you could. It would just have to be, big enough, out of the ballpark of what a politician's going to give, right?
Yeah, compare performance.
Yeah, you couldn't have that level of enthusiasm out of a sense of duty. You know what I'm saying? Duty-driven people will do things, but there's intangibles there that you can sense. How well they're doing it with how much enthusiasm is something that's intangible. It's those non-tangible things that you can't measure that are all over the Yang Gang that lead us to think it's based off that charisma, just that gift from the gods.
Well, speaking exactly to your point, I came across this. I want to highlight this. I hope I don't
hit it. Highlight it.
I always feel bad sometimes. I don't know if you're tweeting stuff at me. If you're tweeting, no offense, I use tweets in my videos. But this was a very cool studio, I thought, because this is a Caitlyn Germain, I believe, and she says that she used to make her little sister call her friends to ask if they would hang out. And because phone calls and rejection made her anxious, but now she's phone banking for Andrew Yang. I think it's just, as we're both speaking to, just a great little version of it right there. Like I said, there's people that seriously were like, and you can see he's wearing the Yang shirt and everything. It's just like people who like
confession. I used to make my little sister call my friends to ask if we could hang out. Phone calls and rejection made me anxious. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you can almost argue probably if phone calls and rejection make you anxious, then a good way to get over that's the phone bank for a candidate that has low recognition, because it's going to be a lot of that, right? But again, this only comes from people. Like you said, it's hard to pay someone to do something they really don't want to do. But when they're passionate about the outcome, they'll do it. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's very cool. And again, one last little run through. Just, from Hollywood. Like, it's literally from Hollywood celebrities to grandmothers to breakdancers to just people hanging out wherever she's from. I don't even know. It's just that everyone's doing their little bit of like the things that they just
I see. It's his two fingers holding the dollar bill.
Yeah.
That's why he's given a peace sign with it. See, I thought it was a pistol.
No, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. But but there we go. So very cool stuff. Shout out to everyone who we mentioned there. Again, if you're doing your own grassroots stuff, tag me, send it to me. I always try to like it and share it on Twitter. I apologize if I didn't get you in this video. I'll try to get you in the future. It's just there's only so much time, and I forget a lot of the times, and I go back and say, oh yeah, that was really cool. I forgot about that. So just
remember, we're at PSP Radio 1 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Make sure you tag us.
And blame me, not Cardin. Cardin has nothing to do with this. Blame me for this.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about Democrats abroad.
Well, yes, that's the next thing I want to get into. It's almost as if you're reading my mind.
Ooh, rock on.
So actually, one of my friends, friends of the show,
names, Cody. We want names.
But he lives overseas. He actually lives in Hong Kong. He's speaking to the Hong Kong Yang Gang and stuff like that.
Rock on.
And we did a video. Oh, when we did the video, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had
the one where I said Democrats abroad is a big deal, and you said it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of emails from expatriates out of town that said it
is
a big deal.
He let me know that's not quite the case.
And by the way, how did he let you know emphatically that Cardin was right and that it is a big deal? Did he let you know enthusiastically?
You want to hear something really interesting? You know what happened when he said that?
What did he say?
I just went, oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know that. And I just let him explain how I was wrong. You
didn't say, dang, my co-host Cardin was right.
No, I didn't say, actually, you're wrong. Let me explain why. I just said, oh, it's very interesting. But here we go. Speaking of, though, so I pulled up here some Ballotpedia, and it's explaining in the Democratic primary how many delegates go to each state, right?
Yeah.
And this is a little bit interesting here. I want to show you guys this. So Democrats abroad in the National Convention or Committee, it functions kind of like a state. And you'll notice it has 21. Sorry, it's kind of hard to read here, but the very far right-hand side column is the amount of delegates. You'll notice there's actually more delegates pledged for Democrat abroad Democrats abroad than states like, again, you might be able to bring out the air quotes for states, territories like South Dakota,
brutal.
Wyoming,
Flame.
Alaska, North Dakota. Virginia Islands literally is
not
a territory.
Virginia, Virgin Islands.
Oh, sorry, Virginia. But Virgin Islands literally is a territory, right? Same with Guam. I lose literally like protectorates, right? I mean, we're getting into the, but still, point being,
I think Guam is a commonwealth.
Yeah. Point being, though,
Whatever.
If you win, and I think the actual breakdown of delegates, I believe if you win their vote, you get most of the delegates. Either way, it's comparable to a small state. So the reason why I showed you guys that, one, just to show myself, hey, look, doesn't matter. I mean, like, no flame, but you probably could. All I'm saying is, if you're running for president in a primary, you probably could say, maybe we don't have to campaign in South Dakota.
Yeah, I'm not going to America Samoa. I'm not going to Guam or the Northern Mariana Islands.
Still, it's not nothing of zero significance.
No, but there's 9 other protectorates and states that are underneath Democrats abroad.
Another thing that's fascinating, as of we stand today, the latest candidate to have his name thrown into the ballot, Democrats abroad, will be
Andrew
Yang.
Andrew Yang.
Monday, December 2nd, Andrew Yang finalized filing to participate in the Democrats Abroad 2020 global presidential primary. Primary will run from March 3rd to March 10th. Americans abroad will have the opportunity to vote at more than 100 voting centers around the world, as well as via postal mail, fax, and email. Holy cow. Very interesting thing to highlight there is I believe there is, how many? I believe in Democrats Abroad, there's something like 50 pledged countries. So roughly 2 physical places per nation, I want to say, almost to vote in, plus email, plus mail. I mean, like, basically, one thing our friend was telling me was that it's not that hard to, like, it's actually very easy to register and vote if you're not living in America, but you're still a citizen in the Democratic primary through Democrats Abroad.
It's not like they force you to go to the embassy or something.
I believe, for example, in the inverse, there just isn't this particular system for the Republicans. If you're living abroad, it's not like that to vote in the Republican primary. The Democrats have built the Democrats Abroad system to make it very easy. But what's interesting,
just another example of how Democrats are better at marketing, man. We give credit where credit is due.
I mean,
there is a reason why 70% or more.
Like I said, I don't approach these things from the stance of I'm a Republican. I don't care which party does what. I just think it's interesting that Democrats Abroad is uniquely had set up for Democrats to make it easier for their abroad people to vote in the primary. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's impressive is what it is.
Here we go, though. Who exactly is on the ballot, right?
Now, this is what surprised me.
Currently, we have Senator Elizabeth Warren. She qualified on November 18th, so you'll see Elizabeth Warren take this a little bit seriously. However, Elizabeth Warren was beat to the punch by Mr. Pete Buttigieg. On November 17th, by mere days, he became the first Democrat. So you'll notice these aren't 0 to 2% also-rans these are people that actually legitimately want to be the nominee.
Well, yeah, so it looks like
real campaigns.
So if you're, for example, a John Delaney fan, you don't even have the option of voting for John Delaney.
Well,
or if
yet.
you're a Joe Biden fan, it looks like Joe Biden has completely just foregone this Democrats abroad demographic.
For now,
obviously for now.
A large period.
See, I was always under the impression, this was eye-opening for me, because I was always under the impression that you just got a generalized ballot that was an amalgamation of all of the options kind of federally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that it wasn't necessarily like a state-by-state thing, and that the Democrats abroad are considered their own state for which you must register. I just figured it was kind of like, hey, look, these are the people running. Check your box, and we're going to put this in the embassy and mail it back to the FEC. I didn't realize that you really got to chase this down. And it's strange to me, too, though, because now with modern media, how frustrating would that be if, let's just say, you were a Bernie Sanders person? Is Bernie one of the people on the Democrats abroad ticket? I can't remember what you said.
Not currently, but I'm assuming he'll be. It's just
but what if he didn't register because he was skipping the demographic? How frustrating would that be if you couldn't vote for your guy just because you were living abroad?
It would be, but at the same time, from the because I agree with you. From the candidate's perspective, however, like we said, do you think Bernie Sanders is going to be like kicking himself? Why didn't I go to North Dakota? I should have went to Samoa. Why didn't I? You know what I mean? Like,
if it was down to one electoral vote, yeah,
perhaps, right?
Like
Swing Vote. Remember the movie Swing Vote?
Yeah,
which is
Kevin Costner's greatest performance since Field of Dreams.
Kelsey Grammer, Kevin Costner, and.
Look, the only reason why Kelsey never got an Oscar.
I wanted to say Rudy Giuliani. It's not Rudy Giuliani. Who is the other guy in that movie? I have no idea. It's obviously not Rudy Giuliani. But But I just want to say you were right. Democrats abroad is definitely not something to sneeze at. It's not something to overlook. It's legitimate. It is delegates. And right now, currently, Andrew Yang is one of 3 people on the ballot.
Yeah.
As of like yesterday. That's really cool.
I give him credit. I think that's actually one of those beautiful parts of America is how we maintain that relationship with expats abroad. Actually, no. Yeah, it's called you're an expatriate if you're a citizen living on foreign soil, right?
I always wondered that. To me, expatriate to me always spoke to like you renounce your citizenship.
Yeah, like I know you'd think that, but they're called expats. I know that
because is it repatriated when you're returned to your country of origin?
Yeah, that's why it's.
Oh, but you're not returned to being a citizen in your country of origin. So that's what it means.
Yeah. So either way, if you haven't had the experience,
Democrats abroad, not Democratic expats. So perhaps there is a semantic difference.
Okay, could be. We'll have to investigate that. If we have any English professors out there, please illuminate our minds.
Actually, please don't.
But have you ever had the experience of going to an embassy in a foreign country?
No.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. And I have to tell you, America is better overseas. Here, we fight each other tooth and nail. It's like, who's that jerk? Oh, he's a he's a Republican, and like we're at each other's throats, right? But let me tell you, when you're in the middle of Berlin, Germany, and you go to the U.S. Embassy, it's like, sweet, everyone in this building's American. Like, yeah, what's up, brother? You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's that coolness that I dig. So if you're ever on vacation, honestly, just hit the embassy, just walk in. All you have to do is declare that you're an American. In a lot of these, especially if you're on positive soil,
just declare.
Yeah, in fact, it used to be that to get back to the United States of America, you only had to declare your citizenship verbally. Like in the 90s, that's what I did. And then immigration would look at you, and if they believed you, they could let you in.
That makes sense.
Well, have you ever seen that movie, The Saint, with Val Kilmer back in the day?
The what?
The Saint. It was a 90s movie when Val Kilmer was young.
No.
There's this beautiful scene where Elizabeth Shue is running to the embassy. She's escaping the Russian mafiosos, and she's come out of a sewer hatch, and they see her in their Land Rover, and they're chasing her, and she's running to the embassy, and she just starts going, I'm an American, I'm an American, I'm an American, I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? And then she makes it boom right before he does. So all you have to do is verbally declare your citizenship.
I love movies. Like in movie logic, it's like if Russian soldiers murder an American in eyesight of the embassy, hey, she wasn't in the embassy.
She wasn't in the embassy.
Oh, it's all
because the embassy is foreign soil.
Yeah. So, you think Americans are just like, hey, she wasn't in the door, so we just let her die.
Hey, that's a scene, man. If that's not on YouTube, some YouTubers got to get that scene from The Patriot. Makes you real patriotic real fast.
That's how you can go. That's how you can go vote for Andrew Yang in Moscow.
And then there's this big black guy Marine that just like shoves the gate in front of the mafioso, and he's like, "Step away from the gate, sir." And he's like, "Totally BA." It's awesome.
We'll have to do a movie podcast one day.
Yeah, dude.
But again, so this is a shorter topic. I didn't want to kind of correct the record that Democrats abroad essentially functions as a small state, which is just, I think, interesting to note. Very small, but a small state nonetheless. Not worth overlooking. And like I said, currently the candidates taking it seriously are Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang, which are 3 candidates that are taking everything seriously. So I think it's also worth noting as well. These are people that want to win. They're taking advantage of it. So, Carden, that's all I've really got for today.
Okay, I'm doing one thing. The Saint movie.
Yeah, that's all I got for today, guys.
Embassy scene.
Because the big news today was Kamala Harris dropping out. And again, Andrew Yang, nice to Kamala Harris when she dropped out.
It keeps looking on DuckDuckGo for me.
Okay, either way, we got to wrap up, man. Carden.
I found it. Do you want to watch it?
No, we can't. Anything?
Okay.
We can't YouTube. Anything you want to say at the end.
Just make sure you follow us on PSP Radio 1 on Twitter. Please tag us in anything you want us to see. Any video ideas you got, we'll take them. You can DM us there, although DMs are not as effective as just plain old tagging us, we found. Also, make sure if you want to pick up a hat, you go to problemsolverpolitics.com. And if you want to contribute to the channel, thank you so much to our contributors. You guys keep this alive and make it so we can keep making more and more and more videos and more content for you guys on the Andrew Yang campaign and beyond. You can follow the link that is in the description of this video to make sure that you contribute to the channel there. Or you can just make sure that you... Gosh, we actually have no other methods. I forgot. We haven't set up those other methods yet. So, yeah. PayPal in our description.
Support the Lakers. Support the Lakers. Support the Los Angeles Rams. Support the Los Angeles Kings.
Okay. See you guys in the next video.